Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Block. Opening night tonight with the Middle Creek Mustangs playing the Garner Trojans. I'm Jason Schmidt with Jonah Mayer, and it certainly does look like a beautiful night tonight, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's really nice tonight. We had a little bit of rain beforehand, though, so we'll see if that affects the gameplay at all.
All right, well, anyone watching this broadcast definitely doesn't need a reminder of how important and emotional this game will be. Middle Creek Mustangs beat Garner in the playoffs 24-23 last year, and you better believe they're coming to get revenge.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a close game tonight.
And here they are coming out of the tunnel with that classic smoke. Actually, this is going to be my first time back at a football game. I'm now at state, so a little bit of a drive over here. But it's hard to keep us away from the Sports Block. And coming back, it is nice to see that the Creek Crazies definitely have not let up.
No, in fact, I think they're back in even more strength than usual.
Yes. It's going to be interesting to see tonight how the Mustangs do on offense. As you know, they lost their two best, arguably, receivers last year in Jay Schuler and Curtis Burston. So one would think that they would struggle a little bit, but I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, Garner has a lot of new faces, though, too, so never know what's going to happen.
One face that's not as new is number 2, Naheem Hines. As you know, he ran all over every defense last year, essentially, and one of the major reasons that the Middle Creek Mustangs were able to beat Garner in the playoffs was they held him to about 80 yards throughout the entire game, so that's definitely going to be something to look at. That was definitely a strength in Middle Creek last year, was their run defense. And as the Mustangs get ready to break out, you can see the banner, "Even Trojans can drown in our creek." But man, is it a beautiful day out for football. About 80 degrees. Thank goodness the rain was over quick, because that could have put a damper on tonight pretty easily.
Oh, yeah.
And as we wait for them to run out here, what are your things you're probably going to want to see in this game from both sides?
I want to see Middle Creek work a lot more on their passing, because last year they had a great passing game, but I saw them mostly running. A lot of run plays.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if they stay with the screens. One would think that the way they run their offense with a spread, that they would still we would continue to see the screens as much as we did last year. But what a great game to start off the season with two of the better teams in the area.
Major arch rivals, too.
And not to mention that this is actually Time Warner Cable's Game of the Week. So they are here broadcasting as well next to us. So a little bit more cramped of a booth, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Be sure if you do happen to watch that broadcast that you see the special on the Sports Block during halftime. As the Middle Creek Mustangs come out a lot of familiar faces, but also a lot of new ones. Back to receive the kick is number 1, Jonathan Spencer, and number 5, York Sands. Of course, I got to give a shout out to number 18, my little brother, Matt Schmidt. Getting ready for the kickoff. It's our finally good to be back to some football. That's everyone waits for football season, and it's finally here again.
That's for sure.
This is definitely the best, or my favorite, sports lock to be at. So.
Here comes the kick.
Kick is received by number 1, Jonathan Spencer, for a touchback in the end zone. And here come the Middle Creek Mustangs offense. Once again, they are led by number 9, Brant Griselle. You'd think he would have grown over the past year, as he was only a junior last year. So it's going to be exciting to see the differences. And
really
a returner, number 4, Elijah Perry, also in the backfield. And quick to get him in on the action. That's a quick run by number 4, Elijah Perry, up the middle for no gain. And Middle Creek is still staying with the same offense. With the spread, they got 2 receivers on either side, so look to pass the ball a lot. And that pass is bobbled and dropped by number 11, Evan Yanulevich. I hope I got that right. That leaves it with 3rd down and 10 coming up. Garner is loading up the box. No real safeties back. And that is caught.
Rocket of a pass.
Great throw. That is number 15, Quadir Ford, for a 15-yard gain, and that's a Middle Creek first down.
That was a great play.
As that is repeated by the Creek Crazies. All right, Mustangs line up with 3 receivers out to the right.
Quick pass.
And that was a quick screen to number 2, Ashton Mitchell. And that's what I was talking about earlier. They sure do run a lot of screens. It worked well for them last year, so I'd expect to see a lot more this year.
Yeah.
Still staying with the 4 receiver set. And he fights for every yard. He gets back to the line of scrimmage. That sweep really had nothing going for it from the start.
3rd down.
All right. Stuart Fine in the backfield now. And Stuart Fine takes it, and he fights forward for a first down. A lot of hard running done there. Now it looks like the Mustangs are refreshing their receivers. Stuart Fine again, and he forces his way forward for a 4-yard gain. Mustangs definitely, it's kind of confused. It seems like they confuse the defense a lot because they line up with all the receivers out, but then when they are able to run it, they are able to push it forward. And Stuart Fine is wrapped up in the backfield for no gain. That's going to bring up 3rd down and 6 for the Mustangs. It seems like they're running kind of a pressure offense right now. They're getting right back up to the line of scrimmage and snapping it. as Middle Creek looks for their second third down this drive. Is a quick pitch to number 1. And he is wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. That's going to bring up 4th down. And what one would expect, a Middle Creek punt. But they are bringing the offense back out. Looks like they are going for it early in the game. So 4th down and 5 here for the Mustangs.
That's a risky call that early in the game, going for it.
Let's see if it pays off. Oh, they got him to jump. It looked like that's what the Mustangs were going for, and that's going to be offsides on Garner. Yep.
Yep, looks like that paid off.
Yep, that's going to be a Middle Creek first down right there. As Garner, you can't afford to make that mistake against a very good Mustangs team. It almost seemed like that's exactly what Middle Creek was trying to go for there. You see that a lot in the NFL, where a team tries to hurry to the line only to snap it and get an offsides, as that is a good gain for Elijah Perry up the middle. Brings up a 2nd and 5 about. And they are definitely keeping a good pace here. Again to Elijah Perry off to the left. And that'll be about a 2-yard gain. That's going to bring up another 3rd down and about 3. Oh, flag on the play. Let's see what the call is going to be. I didn't see anything.
I didn't see anything either.
But I'm not paying attention to the line either. So let's see. That's going to be a personal foul, face mask on Garner again. So
another costly mistake. Garner can't be afford to making these mistakes this early in the game.
Yes, that was going to be another 3rd down for the Mustangs, but instead they get 15 free yards, and now they are in the red zone of Garner. So knocking on the doorsteps this early in the game, Middle Creek has built a pretty good drive so far.
See if Middle Creek can capitalize on the mistakes that Garner's been making.
As we get ready for the snap. Some confusion on the Mustangs. A run up the middle for Elijah Perry. He fights forward for a good gain. He is working it so far.
I'm very impressed with Elijah Perry's game so far.
As the Garner coach, you got to be upset at the amount of missed tackles that these guys are having right now. So about 2nd and 4 now for the Mustangs from the 12-yard line. Looks towards the end zone.
And
it is caught by number 15, Quadir Ford, for a Middle Creek touchdown. And
that was really just a great play.
That was an 80-yard drive by the Mustangs right down to the touchdown. 2 costly penalties by Garner helped contribute to that score right there, and that's got to drive you insane as a coach.
Oh, yeah. Garner really can't be afforded to making these.
Yes. As number 33, Michael Rubino, comes out to attempt an extra point. And the kick is good. Middle Creek on top, 7-0 with an early opening drive there. As a Middle Creek fan, you gotta be confident after that drive. They look downright unstoppable.
Creek Crazies are certainly loving it.
Now, as Garner, you gotta learn how to come back from this, and I'd look to watch the run game of Garner more than anything, as I doubt things have changed with their star running back yet. To give an example of Naheem Hines, last year, I believe, the game before Garner played Middle Creek in the playoffs, I think he ran for something like 474 yards and like 7 or 8 touchdowns. It was something that you don't even see in Madden games.
No, that's quite something.
It is so loud.
Mustangs getting ready to kick it off.
Michael Rubino is another returner worth mentioning, as he really came through down the stretch for the Mustangs last year as a junior. He actually was the one that kicked the field goal that pushed the Mustangs past Garner in the playoffs. Ready for the kick. And the kick is away, but it is an onside kick, and it is recovered by what looks like the Mustangs. Now the question remains, did it go 10 yards? I believe the call is that it did not go 10 yards. It looked a little bit short to me, and the ruling is, I believe it's the same in high school as in NFL. An onside kick has to go 10 yards before it is touched by the recovery team. So yes, that's going to go against the Mustangs, and the Garner will get pretty good field position here at the 50-yard line. And that's unfortunate because there was no one in sight for Garner to recover that ball. They just touched it a yard too early. But as we go here, first snap for Garner. And Hines right up the middle, but he is bottled up. And as Middle Creek coach, that's what you're going to want to see the entire game. I believe that was Terry Patterson, number 57, in on that hit. Oh, actually by 63, Zavon Powell. As the Trojans line up again, number 7, Brody West under center.
Seems to be a little bit of confusion on the line for the Trojans.
And that is a timeout called by Garner. And they are not looking good right now. But with that, we will head to break. Tune in. You are watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
And you are back with the Sports Block. Mustangs versus the Trojans. Mustangs on top 7-0, but Trojans with good field position. Naheem Hines with a pitch, and he is tackled about a yard shy of a first down. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 1 for the Trojans.
That was really a great play.
And that's really what you're probably going to look to see from the Trojans the rest of the night is a lot of Hines, because that's what a lot of their game rested on the shoulders of last year. As they line up again. Middle Creek would need a stop right here. And they are stopped behind the line. They did a fake to the number 5, Tyrese Taylor, and he is stuffed by the defense of Middle Creek. But as with the Mustangs, it looks like the Trojans are going to go for it as well, and with a back like Naheem Hines, why not? As you can see, the Mustangs on defense, they are putting a lot of guys in the box. They're looking to stuff up all the holes there. And a pitch is Naheem Hines on the outside, and he jumps over a Middle Creek defender for a first down. And as Middle Creek, you cannot afford to keep giving up those runs. You got to learn to stop them. And what was brought to our attention, something about the Middle Creek uniforms.
Oh, yeah. It seems like Middle Creek got new uniforms this year.
The helmets look real nice, that's for sure. That pass is tipped. I believe it was number 34, Alex Sutton, in there on the pressure. Middle Creek defense really looking strong right now. As they line up again. Main difference between Middle Creek and Garner, as you can see with Garner, they're only bringing 2 wide receivers out. They're keeping 2 people in the back. And Nahi Himes forward again. Looks like a gain of 3. That's going to bring up a 3rd and about 6 or 7 for the Trojans.
Middle Creek is certainly making them fight hard for every single yard.
That is true. Now, if you're just tuning in, you are watching Middle Creek Mustangs take on the Garner Trojans in the home opener for the Mustangs. These 2 teams are the better teams in the area, as showed last year, and passes away. And that is intercepted.
Interception.
That is an interception by number 1, Jonathan Spencer, in the end zone.
Mustangs have certainly come out fighting this game.
And that was an amazing acrobatic catch there. I believe he had it on one hand, and that was bobbled in the end zone, but then caught as he was falling down. That is a big momentum shifter right there. As Garner, you know, when they rely so much on the run, it really hurts them when they start to attempt to pass and things like that go wrong. So not a good start for the Trojans, but the Mustangs are going to have the ball on the 20 again, looking for another long drive.
As the Trojans coach, you got to start and be getting worried by now. A lot of costly mistakes is not looking good for the for Trojans.
All right, as the Mustangs in the huddle right now, I'm sure coach is thinking the same thing as we are up here. If the Mustangs can put together a big drive here, that would be a very big hit on the morale of the Garner Trojans. First down coming up. Mustangs stay with the 4 wide receiver set. Here's the snap. Fake, looking long for a pass, and just overthrows the receiver, number 2, Ashton Mitchell.
Ashton ran his heart out to get to that one, but just couldn't seem to get it.
It looked like Grizel was hit as he threw. So probably put a little bit too much on that one, but at that point you got to put a little bit too much, because you put a little less and it could get picked off real easily. And that's the handoff right to Elijah Perry, and he breaks off to the side, and he's down the sideline. It's a foot race.
40,
and
30,
he's not tripped
20,
up. He
10.
is gone.
Touchdown.
Touchdown, Elijah Perry.
What a play.
An 80-yard run. And that was a great run by number 4, Elijah Perry. And that puts the Middle Creek Mustangs up 13-0, awaiting the extra point. But that was just great running there. He cut right through in the middle, worked his way to the outside, and then it was all just a foot race.
Trojans have really got to start, are probably really sweating right about by now.
And now we got Rubino out again for the extra point. And almost blocked, but through the uprights, that puts Middle Creek up 2 touchdowns now. And that, you couldn't have hoped for a better start there.
14-0 with 4:27 to go is not something you want to see as a coach.
Yes, now Garner's got to figure out what's going to work now. Is Middle Creek's looked unstoppable.
Maybe not.
We were saying a long drive would be a backbreaker there, but I'm sure a 2-play 80-yard drive works for them just as well. As the Mustangs are out to attempt another kick. Now, I think it's too early in the game to expect anything different on offense from Garner. If anything, I'd see them relying a little bit more on the run, if that's even something that's possible. So.
Yeah, they just haven't had very much success with their passing game so far. So, yeah, they're probably going to stick with the runs mostly.
And I noticed down here they actually put a tarp out under the players after the rain. It's a very good idea based off of last year. You can remember how much this little area turned into a mud pit after some of these games from just the players standing on the sidelines. Another instance of our Stampede Club here doing good work. As Rubino squares off for the kick. Creek Crazies definitely haven't missed a beat, and that's again an onside kick, but it went through the Garner player, and Middle Creek has recovered it. That went right through the Garner receiving team, and Middle Creek was there right on top of it.
Mustangs have certainly come out fighting this game.
Coach Castellanos pulled out all the stops here. Garner was expecting that too, as it looked they had packed a lot more people up front, but that just went right through the legs of the return man. And now Mustangs with a chance to really put themselves ahead here in the first quarter. As they come out with a 3 to the left, a screen. And he breaks through, and that's Ashton Mitchell for a 12-yard gain. Again with the screen. I mean, we haven't seen them as much, but when they've used them, they seem to have worked well. Now Mustangs hurry to the line again. Snap is away. It's Stuart Fine up the middle, but he is bottled up for what looks like a 1-yard loss. And you can't really say enough about how upset Garner should be right now, and about how happy Middle Creek should be right now. Everything's going for Middle Creek. Snap again. And he threw it behind the receiver, number 11, Evan Yanulevich. It's going to give me trouble all night. I can see it already. So now 3rd down and about 11 for the Mustangs. Mustangs loading up the left side with 3 receivers.
Another pass.
And down the sideline, and it is intercepted by Garner. That is number 3, Raekwon Britton. That just looked like a miscommunication on offense between Grizel and the receiver as he threw it behind him. But that's just what Garner needs right there to get back in this game, a quick stop. And that gives them a relatively good field position on the 29-yard line.
That's got to boost up their morale a little bit.
Look to see nothing different here on this drive. The snap is away, given right to Hines.
Another
but
run.
He is bottled up for about a 1-yard gain there. With all the action that's happened so far, it would be hard to believe when I tell you it is the first quarter still.
I know, it's just unbelievable. Both teams have certainly come out fighting.
3.5 minutes to go with West under center. Looks for a quick screen, but it is dropped.
Incomplete.
And that's a dangerous situation right there, because that almost looked like it was thrown behind. Had that been behind, that would have been a fumble. And now that brings up a 3rd and 8 for the Trojans.
See if the Mustangs can hold them back.
And if they do, I would be surprised, to say the least, if they decide to go for it again so far in their own territory right now.
Yeah, the Trojans are really not in a spot to go for it.
Passes away here. Looking downfield for Hines, but just couldn't get to it as West was drilled as he threw by number 47, Anthony Mitchell, and number 53, Austin Ludwig. And as we were saying earlier, here comes the Garner punt team. Back to receive the kick is number 18, Matt Schmidt. Haven't heard enough about how excited he's been to return punts. And something we were looking at that was very strong last year was Middle Creek's punt block, as they broke through really quick there, and no return on that. But Mustangs are going to get pretty good field position at their own 37. You figure with Castellano talked at the coaches show last year about how they were going for the record in punt blocks. I believe they got there last year. If not, they were pretty close. So you got to imagine they're pretty excited anytime they can get a 3-and-out. Snaps away. And a little early on the hit, and there comes the flag. Warren Messer for Garner looked to be a little bit early on that hit. We'll see if that's the call.
Another mistake.
And that's not one of those where it's incidental. I believe we'll have to see what the call is, whether they pick it up or. Usually they are quick to call that because they can't have defense on the receiver that early. And yet there we go.
Another costly penalty. The Trojans really do not need this right now.
Yeah, and that's another big one. Pass interference is another 15 yards. So. That's a lot of yardage they can't afford to be giving up right now. So now Mustangs went from their own 36 to now they're in Trojan territory on the 48-yard line. Warren Messer, that sounds very familiar. I'm pretty sure that is a former Mustang right there. As Elijah Perry is giving the handoff, and he just gets back to the line of scrimmage. But again, with the penalties so far, Garner has 3 for 35 yards. That's
just absolutely devastating.
Yes, and they've come at very inopportune times thus far.
Mustangs have really impressed me this game so far.
And that is right through the hands of number 8, Warren Messer, or sorry, number 8, Tavion McQueen. Looking at the wrong sheet there. It's going to bring up a 3rd and about 11 for the Mustangs. Coming out with 3 receivers on the left side.
Drops back for a pass.
You're looking for 18, Matt Schmidt, and that is a catch.
What a catch by Matt Schmidt.
Great catch as he was falling. That is going to be a 15-yard gain. But there's a flag down in the backfield. And that was holding against Middle Creek. So that's going to set the Mustangs back another 10 yards. And we talk about penalties. That's a very unfortunate one right there.
Matt Schmidt has got to be bummed out about that one after such a great catch.
Actually, only going to, here we go. Mustang's going to have a 3rd down and 21 now. That's not the position they wanted to be in. Interesting to see the call here. Same receiver set staying out. Even out on both sides, too. As the ref's mulling over a little bit there. And here we go. 3rd and 21 for the Mustangs. And Griselle is brought down in the backfield for a sack. And so the Mustangs' drive ends farther back where it started, back at their own 27 now.
Really got to wonder what happened with that O-line there. They broke through very fast. As the Mustangs punt team comes out now, Naheem Hines and Jarvin Holder back for the Trojans. And that is almost blocked by the Trojans, but got away, and the Trojans are going to start with very good field position around their own 40-yard line. But that is an unfortunate play for the Mustangs. They got to come back from that one. Penalties are heartbreakers. As they break the huddle. Trojans spread one receiver out. The pitch to Hines, and he breaks free for a little bit, stuffed up for about a 5-yard gain. And the Trojan offense looks fired up right now, as you can see Hines getting out of that tackle. It's going to bring a second and about 3. One would think an obvious run situation for the Trojans.
The Trojans have mainly really been sticking with the run this game. The passes have really not worked out for them so far.
And that is a quick draw to number 30, Darion Fogg, for no gain, and or about a yard gain, and that brings up a 3rd and 2 for the Mustangs, or for the Trojans.
30 seconds left in the first quarter.
The Creek Crazies out in force here.
Looks like they're going to go for another run.
And that's a pitch to Hines, and he is able to get forward for a first down. Looks to be an 8-yard gain, but there is a penalty flag thrown down after the play. Oh, but he's waving it off. No foul. So first down for the Trojans with 11 seconds left. Wouldn't be surprised to see the clock run out here. And I'd say for the Trojans, for the quarter to end at just 14-0 is a blessing. They're going to try to get one more play off, it looks like, and they do. And it's Hines, a pitch to the left. And he almost broke free, but that's going to be an 11-yard gain, another first down for the Trojans. And that's going to bring that quarter to a close. Mustangs on top, 14-0, however. And Middle Creek above the Trojans 14-0 right now. You are watching the Sports Block. We'll be right back.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
And you are back with the Sports Block. Middle Creek still up 14-0. Start of the second quarter, and what looked like a failed play there actually turns into decent yardage for the Trojans. Almost lost control of the ball in the backfield. As Garner now looks to rush to the line. I see no huddle with them. It looks to be offsides on the defense. Worth a note, there is no Naheem Hines in the backfield. And there he is. And that's illegal procedure against the Mustangs. That'll be a 5-yard penalty, I believe. And it brings up 2nd and 9 for the Trojans.
Actually, I believe that was illegal procedure on the Trojans. And that is thrown but dropped by number 9, Christian Anumi. A big hit on him as he was hit from behind and in front. Contributed to that drop. And my apologies, that was an illegal procedure on the Trojans, not the Mustangs. And that brings up a 3rd and 9 now for the Trojans. And those are the throws you wish you can have back. It was a great hit by the Mustangs, but still no excuse to be dropped. As they line up here, another 3rd down for the Trojans. No Nyheim Hines in the backfield. He is lined up to the left. And obviously you would see the look there, but it's thrown behind him as West was knocked by number 43, Ashton Mitchell. Again, he has been back there all game. So now that brings up 4th down. And my apologies, that was 47, Anthony Mitchell, not 43. So now 4th down and 9 for the Trojans. They bring their offense right back out. No punt team for them.
This is, well, it's actually pretty good positioning to be going for it, but I honestly, as a team, I really wouldn't go for it right now.
With how the Mustangs offense has been driving, you never know. And Nyheim Hines again split out to the left. Looking for him along the pass here, and is a stoppage in play, timeout or flag. I believe that's illegal procedure on the Trojans again. So that's going to move them back. Oh, delay of game on the Trojans. So that, again, another penalty for the Trojans. Now 4th down and 14. And as we saw with the Mustangs, there's a big difference between a 4th and 9 and a 4th and 20. And a timeout by Garner. Middle Creek still up 14-0. You are watching the Sports Block. We'll be right back.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Block.
Back with the Sports Block. Mustangs up 14-0 with 11 minutes left in the second quarter. 4th and 14 for the Trojans. As the Trojans line up, Nyheim Hines again split out left. They're looking to pass to him, as we've seen with the past 2 attempts.
See if they can convert on this.
Oh, and it's a punt. No one back there for Middle Creek. They're looking to down it, and a great kick is downed inside the 5-yard line by the Trojans. So Middle Creek with not good starting position now. And that was a fake punt. I don't know how you would describe that. A fake offense, really.
Yeah, that was interesting.
As number 7, West, came out and actually punted the ball away. Reminds me of something Ben Roethlisberger did for the Pittsburgh Steelers a while back. And now we see the Mustangs in, well, one would think an obvious run situation inside their own 5-yard line. And it is handed right off to Elijah Perry, and he's able to get out there for a few yards. But a flag is down. Garner signaling that it's against Middle Creek, and it is holding on the Mustangs. That's going to half distance to the goal, so about 2.5 yards. I guess if you're going to get a penalty, now would be the best time to do it. Mustangs now from their own 2.5-yard line. Now this is a scary situation for Grizel to be lined up in the end zone now, as the line has not held up so well so far this game. and that is caught right outside the end zone by number 2, Ashton Mitchell. Ever so close to the goal line they go. Mustangs now look to be on their own 1-yard line, a 2nd and 14.
This is way too close for comfort.
Mustangs still with 4 wideouts. Look for a quick pass here. And hit as he threw, and that is intercepted. And that looks to be run into the end zone by number 11, Jarvin Holder. And that is an interception for a touchdown. And that's one of the things about throwing the ball backed up in your own end zone. That can happen very easily.
I think Brant got a little nervous there. I would be too. He's awful, awful close.
And he was hit as he threw again, I believe. So Middle Creek Mustangs, their weakness showing so far would be their offensive line, as they come out to attempt to kick number 32, Noah Giroux, who's actually in 10th grade. And that is up very high and through the uprights. Garner on the board, 14-7 now. Mustangs really past those first 2 drives haven't been able to put together much on offense, so look to see them try to get something going again.
Mustangs really dominated the first quarter, and Trojans seem to be coming back second.
We've seen a downward trend with their drives so far, ending in that's the 2nd interception for Grizel today, and penalties are beginning to play a factor for them as well.
I honestly feel as though like the interceptions are a big part of the O-line's fault, because the O-line has just been letting them through.
Yeah, that is true for as we have seen tonight. Grizel really getting no protection, and we see that with the run as well. So that's probably something Castellano will be hitting on. As the Trojans come out to kick away. Back to receive the kick, number 4, Elijah Perry.
It is certainly tense here, guys.
Seems they are having trouble putting the ball up today so far, taking a lot of time to do so. I don't know. Do you see an onside kick coming on along here? I mean, Middle Creek did it twice. Why not?
Yeah, Garner might certainly attempt it.
Middle Creek doesn't look too prepared to receive one if that's the case. So here we go. And the kick is away. And that's caught by Jonathan Spencer, who runs it up.
Breaks through.
And and here we go.
Dodging players left
It
and
is
right.
a foot race again.
40, 30.
And just thrown out of bounds inside the 30-yard line.
Great run.
Number 34, Kerry Williams, just got there in time to push him out. It was gone past then.
You saw a little hole and the players coming on, and he took it. Certainly took advantage of that.
Mustangs getting great field position here, trying to light something up here. And one would think that's just the push they needed, but let's see how the Mustangs can capitalize on this field position now. We got 3 receivers tight to the left. And that is a quick sweep to the left, but again, Elijah Perry not much to work with as he just goes right over the Garner defender. I think a 1-yard gain about. He worked for every foot on that one.
Garner read that play pretty well.
So now the Mustangs again line up. 2 receivers out to each side. Runs right up the middle. And Perry is gone. He's gone.
That is a Middle Creek touchdown.
A 25-yard run for Elijah Perry. And that is his 2nd touchdown on the day. Mustangs really hammering it through those holes right now. As Rubino comes out to attempt the extra point. So Mustangs answer right back after Garner's touchdown.
Mustangs I've been really impressed with. They've just had great pushes.
Garner's gotten awful close on these extra points. See if they can connect with one finally. Whoa. And they don't. The kick is right away. And a great kick by Rubino. That was sent way back there. So Mustangs up again by 2 scores, 21-7. And that's just what they needed there to get their offense going again. Interesting note, Garner has yet to actually score a touchdown on offense. Their only score has been on defense.
Yeah, I've not been I'm expecting a little more out of Garner's offense. After the half, I'm sure the coach is going to talk to him a little bit about that.
You can imagine. I'm sure their offense is not used to being held to this low of a yardage. Definitely not to a 0 point scored. As Rubino comes out to kick it away again. Even more of a guess here now. Do we or do we not see another onside kick?
Middle Creek has had mostly success with them so far, so I mean, I see no problem with it, but Garner might just expect it by now, so.
The way I see it right now, Garner wasn't able to capitalize on the field position last time, so if Castellano's that confident in his defense, which at this point you would think he is, why not? But as we see again, I would expect it right now.
Middle Creek's defense has really been impressive tonight.
Garner looks like they're loading up to the right, expecting it there. Wouldn't be surprised to see him change direction, but the ball fell again. Is it that windy outside? I don't see the flag blowing. Well, we'll assume that was wind.
The damn ground probably isn't really helping that much either.
Yes. All right. So now he comes back to attempt the kick again. And I would actually be shocked to not see another onside kick here. And here we go, and that's kicked away. Wow. All right.
Not what I expected at all.
Way behind Hines, and that's going to be a touchback. Garner's got the ball at the 20-yard line. That was a booming kick by Rubino. Maybe they're just trying to throw him off. Give him one break there. But Hines was surprised enough. He was about 15 yards ahead of where the ball actually landed. Had to backpedal all the way.
I think it was a good call by Middle Creek to not do onside, because Garner was actually really starting to load up on the right side.
As they come out, 2-back set again. Pitch right out to Hines, and he is able to work his way close to he is still moving. Mustangs unable to bring him down, but there he goes. That's going to be a first down for the Trojans. And that is the type of running that only great running backs do right there. They just take the pile with them. Mustangs have to be able to take him down.
Yeah, he has certainly been the X factor in the game for Garner.
As Garner in the I form again. Pitch to the other side. Spins away, but he is stopped this time for about a 5-yard gain. We really haven't seen too much variety in the Garner play calling. It has mainly been quick sweeps and quick pitches.
Yeah, I think that's eventually going to affect him in the long run, because Middle Creek is going to start recognizing the plays and start calling them out.
And it hasn't done them any good for when they do try to pass. It has not ended up well so far this game. I believe they've completed 1 pass. And he is tripped up in the backfield, stumbles forward for a 2-yard gain. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 2. An obvious run situation for Garner. But Hines is walking off the field here. Hines has been taken off the field, so we'll see what Garner looks to do. In the backfield is number 5, Tyrese Taylor, the fullback. And number 4, Michael Gilchrist.
1 receiver.
And it is stuffed right up the middle, but he is stuffed by the Middle Creek defense behind the line of scrimmage. Those fullback the fullback draws have not been doing real well for him.
No.
It's going to bring up 4th and 4, and Garner looks to punt.
Garner really needs to start developing some more variety in their plays right now.
And they can't afford to go for it on 4th again with already down 2 scores, as the punt doesn't really do anything for him there, and that's going to be down at the 43. Net yardage on that punt is just under 20 yards. That's not something to be happy about as a coach. So the Mustangs with great field position yet again on their own 43-yard line. See if they capitalize on it.
So far, Middle Creek's been able to capitalize on almost every single Garner mistake.
As they come out with trip receivers on the right. Waiting for clarification from their coach. Snap is away, and it's a quick pitch to Stuart Fine up the middle, but he is stopped at the line of scrimmage for no gain. Mustangs still with no huddle. Second down and about 9 coming up for the Mustangs.
This game has been very quick pace. Everyone's very aggressive and just trying to surprise the other team, really.
Yep, and he drops back to pass, and that is over the middle, but it looked like a little contact on the play, but it looked like he was given as much as he was receiving there. So good non-call by the official. 3rd down and 9 for the Mustangs. That is I do enjoy when the refs let the secondary play. If you begin calling pass interference on every little thing, then you start to lose a bit of the fun. Grizel drops back in shotgun. Looks to the right, comes back. Again, flushed out of the pocket. He's going for the run this time, and he gets out of bounds right at.
Again, the O-line.
But Grizel looks like to be a yard short. Look like they're asking for a measurement, but from here, again, it looks to be about a yard short. Maybe they gave a little bit generous of a spot. And yet it'll be 4th down for the Mustangs. Offense obviously staying out here. And you'd like to see a run, but the Mustangs at times have not been able to punch it through there. So we'll see what comes up.
See if the Mustangs will be able to capitalize on this.
The attempt to draw Garner offsides there. Fine right up the middle, and he looks to be stopped short, depending on the spot by the officials, but it looks like he was stopped short indeed, and yes, it's going to be a turnover on downs for the Mustangs.
Certainly been a lot of turnovers this game so early.
And it looks like they are bringing out the sticks here. But bringing back to the run by Gristle, you know, most quarterbacks are taught to get out of bounds, but you got to wonder if he couldn't have gone another foot there and slid. He seemed to have gotten out of bounds a little bit early. Those little mistakes can kind of add up, as we see here, as the Mustangs were stopped short on 4th and 1.
Yeah, I'd also worry, though, that Brant might get injured, and that is something Middle Creek can not have right now, because their passing game is really going strong.
And for those watching that do indeed remember, Middle Creek played Garner to open up their season last year at Garner. Ended up losing that game 21-16. Brant Gristle was concussed in the at the end of the first quarter in that game, and wide receiver at the time, Jay Schuler, had to step in and throw most of the passes for the game. So I'm sure memories from that come back in moments like that.
Jay Schuler certainly missed. He was quite a player.
As we get ready for the snap here, I form for Garner again. Looking to throw down the left sideline.
Way up in the air.
Again. Yeah, and that's going to be offensive pass interference on Garner. It looked as if he was pulled down before he could make the play. And that was an easy interception for the Mustangs.
That was actually a good penalty for the Trojans because an interception they cannot afford right now.
Yeah, at that point, that is almost like in basketball where you have smart fouls. That was a smart decision by the Garner wide receiver, number 3, Raekwon Britton, to make sure he got that Middle Creek player out of the way, because that was just a pass thrown up in the air there. And again, Garner with the passing game has not been going well for them so far. And now it's going to be first down and 25 for the Trojans. Thus far, the Garner Trojans have 6 penalties for 60 yards. That's unacceptable at this point, as we still have 6.5 minutes left in the second quarter.
Yeah, I find it really unnecessary.
As that is complete to number 11, Jarvin Holder. Just short of the line of scrimmage, going to look at like about 2nd and 13 for the Trojans. I wouldn't be surprised to see them try to pound away with Hines to maybe get that yardage down to a little bit more doable.
Yeah, Hines definitely seems to be their go-to guy right now.
Again in the I form, pitched right to him. And he is flipped just shy of the line of scrimmage again. That's going to bring up 3rd and about 10 for the Trojans. Obvious passing situation, you would think, here behind the sticks for the Trojans. Mustangs need to be ready for anything, however.
Trojans have certainly been doing a lot of run plays, so I wouldn't be surprised if they had a run here either.
As they line up, it's a fake.
Oh, it is a pass.
Pass to number 3, and he is pulled down. That's going to look to be either right along. That looks to be right at the line of right at the first down line, depending on the spot here.
If it isn't a first down, I'm certain they'll go for it.
It definitely, it looks short here by a few inches, but it seems like Middle Creek got a break on the spot there, because it definitely looked like number 3, Raekwon Britton, was able to get past that line. But we will see. And as Middle Creek, that's unacceptable. You know, the main threat on offense for the Trojans is Nyheim Hines, and when you're unable to stop the pass like that, that's a real problem. As the marker comes out, they are just shy.
Just shy.
So it is going to be 4th and inches for the Garner. There is not a doubt in my mind we will see the offense back on the field.
I bet they're going to hand it off to Hines again.
Now, call me a psychic, but I'm pretty sure we'll see number 2 with the ball in this play. I get $10 from you if I'm right. And just actually looking along the sidelines and along the stands, the stadium is packed tonight, as I see Garner fans lined up all the way from the bleachers all the way around the fence back to the entrance, as they hurry to the line here, hoping to catch the Mustangs off guard. The pitch outside to Hines, but a flag on the play.
Flag on the play.
That is a first down. But usually when you see a penalty that early thrown in the backfield, it results in a holding call, but we will see. Looks to be holding on the Trojans. The refs take a minute to talk. Garner bringing out their punt team, so looks to be against Garner, and that is it is on Garner. So
another very costly penalty.
I'm sure that's going to be addressed at halftime. This coach Garner's coach cannot be happy about all these unnecessary penalties.
That's a 5-yard penalty, and that's a illegal shift on Garner, and that is their 7th penalty, and this is still an early in the game. Matt Schmidt, number 18, back to receive the punt for Garner, but they have not gone far so far. And that is a decent punt, fielded at the 18-yard line by Matt Schmidt. And Mustangs with the ball back, 4.5 minutes to go, 4:49 to be exact, in this first half. And points so far has definitely been the penalties on Garner. It is unacceptable to have 7 penalties this early in the game.
Especially for 65 yards. That is just, you just can't have that.
As Grizzle gets the ball. Looks downfield, but the ref is actually run into by Ashton Mitchell. And that's just unfortunate right there. That's one of those where you got to just shake your head, because as a receiver, you got to look out for that. You know the ref's got to be there.
Gotta have your eyes open.
Just lucky that only resulted in an incomplete pass. Again, the line falls apart there. Gristle's able to get the ball off, but only for about a 2-yard gain. And that's going to be a point for the Mustangs to hit on, as well, as their offensive line has just looked not impressive tonight, to say the least.
Yeah, I think Castellano is definitely going to address that.
Gristle has very rarely had time in the pocket. So we look at 3rd down and 8 now.
That's probably been the cause of most of their interceptions. It's just he's had no time to get passes off.
Throw underway again, pressure to him, but a nice screen move, and he is able to work forward.
That was a nice
first down. That is great running by Rasheem Eaton, number 10.
I've been really impressed with Brandt. Just amazing. Even under pressure, he throws really good passes.
And that indeed was a great play by the Mustangs. Gristle in shotgun now. Fake run off to the side to Jonathan Spencer. And he works his way up for 7 yards, and he is thrown down by the Trojans. In a game of as emotional as this one will be, those kind of plays kind of need to be controlled by the refs, I would think, or else we're going to start seeing some chip shots. So we got a player down for the Trojans. And with 3:32 left in the second quarter, Mustangs on top 21-7. We will take a quick commercial break. You are watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
Welcome back to the Sports Block. Mustangs on top 21-7 with 3 minutes and 32 seconds left in the second quarter. Gristle drops back to pass, floats one up, and that is just missed by number 15, Quadir Ford. That pass was just floated up there. That was asking for trouble.
Yeah.
He had 2 Garner cornerbacks closing in on him, and that just hit was too much. And we got a flag on the play.
Looks to be 10 yards against Middle Creek. And a quick shout out to our fans and fellow Sports Block people at UNC Wilmington right now. Melanie Jarvis sitting at home watching us. Hope we're making her proud.
Oh, big hit.
Ashton Mitchell is crushed with that screen. And that's going to bring up about a 3rd and 20 for the Mustangs. For those of you who don't know, Melanie Jarvis was our camera person last year. She did the Sports Block for multiple years, and we sure do miss her. Another flag on the play. Looks to be an illegal shift by the Mustangs, but it is declined, leading to a 3rd down and 20 for the Mustangs.
Brandt drops back. Bullet.
Barely able to get that away again, and he is stopped. But again, held onto by the Trojans. It's going to be a 5-yard gain, but bringing up 4th and 15. Obvious punting situation for the Mustangs here. But another flag thrown in the backfield here. Holding on the Mustangs. And that's declined, so will be another 4th down here. Bringing up 4th down and 15 here, and that's quietly the Mustangs have built up some penalties themselves. They just haven't been doing a lot of damage. So Mustangs, the offense is back on the field, and there they go. Here they come off. Mustangs looking to punt here. Rubino has got a heck of a leg. So Hines is down at their own 35-yard line. Wouldn't be surprised to see him have to backpedal. An awful snap. That is tipped. But that is going to be a penalty on Garner. It seems to be a lapse in judgment, and you can see it on his face right now. Raekwon Britton, number 3. You cannot hit any kicker or punter. As he was trying to get the kick away, he was hit. So let's see what the yardage is, because if this is a personal foul, that will be an automatic 1st down for the Mustangs. And yeah, it is hitting the kicker there. That's going to be a 1st down for the Mustangs.
Another costly mistake. You know, Garner has just been really having a lot of unnecessary and big penalties.
We'll see how that one's called, because depending on what it was, it looks to see the Mustangs punt team stay out. So it was not called as a personal foul, just a quick little 10-yard penalty. So the Mustangs punt team looks to stay out.
Yeah,
but
good.
A very bad mistake for the Trojans, as they were looking to have great field position there. Extra protection now for the Mustangs, and that was almost blocked again, but a great kick by Rubino gets it down there and stopped by the Mustangs at their own 29-yard line. So another costly mistake for the Trojans. Now they have the ball at their own 29. They would have had it definitely inside Mustang territory there. As the Mustang defense comes out. There's 2:38 remaining in the 2nd quarter. Still time for a lot of ball to be played. Mustangs hoping for some defense here. Hoping for a quick stop so they can get the ball back before the half and hopefully get some more points on the board. With Garner's run game, though. And they look to pass. Looks to the left. It's caught for a 1st down, but he's run out of bounds. That was number 40, Aaron Grange, on the catch. And there was just no one guarding him. That is
he was just wide open.
That is a lapse in coverage by the Mustangs. And that was something that performed
relatively well last year was the Mustangs secondary, although they did have lapses in their play. Haven't been too impressive, just as Garner's passing game hasn't been too impressive tonight.
No.
And they look to pass again. West is wrapped up,
Whoa.
but there's a foul flag down in the backfield. We'll see what this looks to be. That was thrown down pretty quick. Holding on Garner, so that is going to be another 10-yard penalty. And these are just drive killers here, as they're called in the NFL. When you get a big penalty like that, and those are just you just can't have those.
They just absolutely kill morale. They're just not good. You just don't want them at all.
The ball has been moved way back here. Looks to be a 15-yard penalty, actually. Heck of a hold. As
ball snap.
And a bobble on the snap. West is able to get away, though, and make up a lot of that holding yardage. Still going to be wrapped up about 10 yards short of the line of scrimmage. And our apologies again. Apparently we have a big crowd of UNCW fans out there. Tyler Scholler, a also past sports block person, and he's actually at ECU. So we are having a big showing of our support from these different colleges. Tyler Scholler, as many of you know, was actually commentating at that Garner game, that infamous game where Middle Creek was able to beat them 24-21. And any other sports block people out there that are watching us, be sure to shout us out. We'll be sure to recognize you. But that is great to see support coming, because, you know, if there's football on in the room, it doesn't matter where you're from, you're going to watch it.
Oh, yeah.
So we probably have a pretty decent crowd right now.
Once sports block, always sports block.
As Garner comes up with about a 3rd and 17 now. Obvious passing situation here. Looks right, throws
Big
way
throw.
down, and that is nearly picked off again by Jonathan Spencer. He is having a heck of a game out there right now on both ends of the field.
1:37 to go.
As the punt team comes on for the Trojans, the Mustangs are going to have a minute and a half to march down the field, so looking for some decent field position here. As they rush forward and they almost get there. That's going to be caught by Matt Schmidt and returned up the sideline. He is able to get about a 15-yard return on that. And in Trojan territory, the Mustangs looking to score again before the half. A minute and 25 to be exact left on the clock for the Mustangs. Three timeouts for the Mustangs as well, as we've seen all the timeouts called by Garner thus far. Gristle back. Looks right. And that is nearly intercepted. They were expecting that one. That was very nearly bad, because there was nothing but end zone for that.
Yeah. You know, Garner, sometimes, like, their defense has really been able to call out Middle Creek's plays.
Yeah, and that was just not a good decision to throw that one. Gristle back again. Quick little play to Elijah Perry, and he is upended at the line of scrimmage. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 10, and a quick 3rd and 10 at that.
I'm really surprised right now. I thought Middle Creek would be throwing longer passes, trying to gain more yardage, but
Middle Creek is just run 2 plays, and only 20 seconds have come off the clock. You know they do not want to leave Garner with any time left, so wouldn't be surprised to see them take a little bit more time here. As his snap is away. Again, Gristle almost under pressure. And that is tipped. looking for Quadir Ford, but couldn't find him.
I feel like the Mustangs would really, really take off if the O-line could just hold out the defense just a little bit longer to give Brant a little more time to look and see his options.
Yes, there again we saw the Mustang line break way too easily. As the punt team comes out, that's not what they were looking for. Now defense has to step up again, maintain a 2-score lead going into the half. As the kick is away. And that is a gorgeous punt. And it actually hits the Mustang returner right in the back, and that's going to be downed right outside the 13-yard line. And again, we have a big group of Middle Creek alums in Chapel Hill. Sonny Rana informing me of that one. I can only assume we got Akash over there and a couple of other people. So I know a lot of Middle Creek went to Chapel Hill. We had a very smart senior class. We have a pretty big fan base tonight.
Yeah.
No one wants to miss this game. As the pitch is to Hines, and he is stopped up behind the line of scrimmage. It looks to be like Garner is just going to run the clock out here for the half. And going into the half, the Mustangs really don't have that much to be upset about. Their offense has done very well at times, and they've kept their penalties to a minimum.
Yeah, and just great plays, too. Defense has been really holding its own, too. Been really impressed with the defense thus far.
I would, personally, I would like to see them come back with a little bit more of the game calling we saw earlier on with the onside kicks. It was a little bit more gutsy, but it was working. As we head to a half, the Mustangs ahead 21-7. Not the expectation anyone had going into this, but surely nothing they're going to complain about as they walk out. We are going to take a quick break here at the Sports Block. Mustangs again ahead 21-7. Stay with us. You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
Get over here. You guys ready?
All right, and back with the sports block, a special halftime presentation. Our own advisor, Luis Maldonado, has been nominated for the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Are you ready down there?
Thanks, guys. My good friend, Rachel Matteau, challenged me to the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Rachel, I accept. And I also challenge 2 of my former students, Jason Schmidt and Patrick Pastrana, and my principal, Mr. Wade Martin, standing right over there. I challenge you guys to the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Enjoy that. All right, he looks a little shocked right there. And always a good cause, the ALS Ice Bucket. And as we conclude that, we're going to go back to a break with 5 minutes left till we start again. You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block,
and
he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off,
And he makes another two! And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two! And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two! And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two! And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two! And kick is up.
All right, and welcome back to the Sports Block. It has turned into a great game so far. Not really many words to say if you've watched it. Middle Creek up against the Trojans 21-7. And we're going to do something special tonight. I know the graduating class from Middle Creek last year was an insane Creek Crazies. Everyone was always at the games, so I know a lot of us are spread out around the country at college right now, and if you are somewhere watching the Sports Block right now, be sure to tweet at the Sports Block if you have a Twitter. If not, find some way to get back to either me or Patrick Pastrana, and we will give you a shout out here. A couple we've missed so far. I know part of that Chapel Hill group, we got Michael Traugot, and I know he was definitely at all the games last year. We got Fred Iroafimi, who many of the Mustangs know as one of our great basketball players on the team. And we got Timothy Bucky all the way from Fort Carson, Colorado. So got a pretty big audience tonight. And keep them coming, guys. We'll keep showing how much support we got even when we leave Mustangs. We're still always going to be a Middle Creek Mustang. And now looking at things to come, Jonah, it's definitely a lot to expect from the teams this half. What are your main expectations here?
I'm really expecting Garner to pick it up a little bit and stop the unnecessary penalties. I mean, they've been doing pretty good so far. It's just if they got rid of those penalties, I feel like they'd be a much better off in the game right now. And Middle Creek, as far as Middle Creek goes, I think they're doing excellent. The O-line is the only major problem I saw, and I'm pretty sure they probably addressed that at halftime.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the intensity they bring back. I definitely was hoping it seemed like the Mustangs stopped playing to win. They started playing to not lose towards the end. And I'd like to see the intensity brought back up again. You know, the onside kicks, they passed a lot more early on. So hopefully they get back to that because, you know,
that's where they got their scores from.
Yeah, they were certainly definitely more aggressive in the first half or first quarter, and that I think that's what made him gain so many points, like such a big lead, is that Garner just wasn't expecting it that much straight out of the gates.
Yeah, and definitely for Garner, the one thing that their coach had to have hit on at halftime was their penalties. They've got 9 for 90 yards so far, and it's the first half.
Yeah,
so
that's just unacceptable.
Honestly, it is going to be hard to find another half that's worse than that, even in high school sports, as far as penalties go. So that has to be addressed if Garner wants any hope of coming back in this game. And as you see, the Middle Creek coaches, they're trying to hurry the game along there, saying Garner's taking too much time out of the half. As Rubino is back to kick. Would not be surprised and honestly hopeful to see a little bit more shake-up, maybe another onside kick here.
Yeah. And as you touched on earlier, I think Garner really needs to step it up offensively, because the one touchdown they do have is from defense. It was an interception, and that just, you should have at least one offensive touchdown by now.
And that is a good point as well. Naheem Hines all the way in the back to receive. Rubino to kick. And that is an onside kick to the left. Beautifully placed, but again, I think the ref was right there to see it. I believe it may have been touched by the Mustangs right beforehand. About a yard in front again. We'll see. It did bounce off a Garner player, but not before the Mustangs had gotten a hand on that. So it's going to be Garner ball at the 49-yard line. They are so close tonight. That is the second one. But, I mean, as the coach there, depending on how the defense does here, I don't see why you keep doing that. Because they haven't been, even there, Garner was not prepared on the right side for that. As Garner comes back up to the line, Naheem Hines is actually in the backfield. Some form of the Wildcat going on here. And takes a direct snap right up for a 15-yard gain.
And as I said before, Hines is just like the one really big factor that is keeping Garner alive in this game, I think.
And that was a direct snap right to him. Took it right up the middle. As the Mustangs, you'd think it wouldn't get easier to tackle.
Yeah.
But
he's honestly like a really impressive. He's really impressed me thus far.
And here we go again with the direct snap formation. I didn't think Hines was a quarterback, so I'd be hard pressed to say he's going to pass it here. But here we go, Garner with a lot of wideouts there, and he runs it right up to the left, but he is stopped for a 5-yard gain. I don't know if they were trying to fool anyone there with the 3 receiver set, but definitely didn't fool anyone up here.
No. I mean, I believe in what they're doing, though, having Hines run it, because, I mean, he's just an amazing runner, and he just keeps on gaining more and more yardage. And if you have a good thing going right now, why stop it?
And until Middle Creek's able to stop that, I don't see any reason they would. As they come up to line again. Still sticking with the Wildcat here. You have number 5, Tyrese Taylor, the fullback there, as well as a lead blocker. And Hines is stopped at the line, and that's what the Middle Creek Mustangs need to get put a damper on it. And you know, an interesting point as well, Hines has already surpassed the amount of running yards he had when they last met in the playoffs. He has just over 85 yards, I believe, at this point.
Yeah, they've definitely been utilizing him in this game.
And it truly was a shock to see Hines held to 79 yards in their last meeting, but he's definitely done a little bit more this game, and that is Hines up to the first down marker. Looks to be a couple yards short. Going to bring up yet another 4th and short for the Trojans. Don't see any reason why they wouldn't go for it here in the Mustangs territory. As the Creek Crazies get a little bit louder.
These two the fan base behind these two teams is just immense. I mean, the stadiums are absolutely packed. It's really pumping up the players.
Besides the Wake Forest game, I honestly don't think Wake Forest and Garner game in the playoffs, I don't think I've seen a stadium more packed here. As Hines spins off a couple of tackles, should have the first down.
Looks like he does.
Yep, and they are signaling first down for the Trojans. You know, I have to be partial. I think the Greek Crazies now are definitely loud, but I still think our class was a little bit louder. You may think differently. The rest of the sports block may think differently over here, seeing as you guys are still here.
Well, I mean, either way, they are just loud and really pumping up the team.
I'm getting glares from everyone in the sports block right now. All right. So we got another another sports block watcher over in Wilmington, Gabe Cooper, who most of us probably know as also another former wide receiver for the Mustangs. And we got Noah March over at ECU.
Garner's lining up. It's going to be another run play.
And a pitch to the left. And a fumble on the ground. It looked like he fell right back on top of it. Looked like Garner will remain with possession. On the carry there was number 4, Michael Gilchrist. A lot of support from college students tonight. It's awesome.
I mean, Middle Creek is just a great school. Once you've been in it, you're always a part of it.
And a quick screen to the right. He's undercut. That was number 11, Jarvin Holder, on the catch. Goes for a few-yard gain. Going to go for another 3rd and short. Middle Creek has been doing a good job at forcing the downs to go by very slowly, but unfortunately, with such a good run team as Garner is, it doesn't help when you have a 3rd and 3 against a great back like Naheem Hines.
Yeah, they just want, if Middle Creek can finally just peg Hines, like defensively, I think they'll be able to really take off on this game.
And he avoids the tackle there. He's going for the corner, and he is in for the touchdown. Garner back on the board with a 15-yard run by Naheem Hines, and as Middle Creek, that's not what you want to let happen.
No, it was a great great rush overall. They had 49 yards overall with 8 plays.
Pretty interesting there on that drive too, as David West, number 7, the quarterback, was only in on a couple of snaps. Wouldn't be surprised to see more of that, considering the Trojans haven't really passed much all game anyways.
And it is their first offensive touchdown, so why wouldn't they just keep doing it?
All right. As the extra point is good, Garner is back on board, now down 21-14. And we got a quick score update. Apex is leading Harnett Central 7-3 in the first quarter. Games from around the league. And Apex sure had a good team last year as well. And so another shout out now. We got a former Middle Creek kicker, Chris Huey, and Brianne Mazel, Creek Crazy leader, are both watching from USC. So some more support. We're getting around there. Another score update too. In the third quarter, Middle Creek is leading Fuquay-Varina 28-6, or Millbrook, not Middle Creek. My bad. But yeah, so let's see. We got from Colorado. We got from ECU, UNCW. Of course, we got here, and we got South Carolina now. We got a pretty big fan base.
Yeah. Garner's lining up for the kick.
Garner going with the "I believe we will win" chant. Don't think the Crazies will take too kindly to that.
No.
As lines up for the kick.
And it's off.
Kick is away. Right to number 1, Jonathan Spencer again. And he is hit hard at the 20-yard line. He slow to get up there.
Another score at halftime. Broughton's leading Cary 28-6. So at this point in the SWAC conference, Apex is the only one leading right now. We got Fuquay and Cary down. All right, and the carry is up the middle for Elijah Perry, up towards the first down line. And referees signaling for it, first down. Some hard running done by Elijah Perry tonight. Brazil back. And spins away from a couple of tackles, but he's brought down a couple of yards past the line of scrimmage.
It appears like the O-line has picked it up a little bit. I haven't seen too many guys break through.
Got to wonder if he hit on that at all during halftime. I'd think so. As Fine finds a hole, and it's a foot race now. The 10, and he is brought down inside the 10-yard line. Stuart Fine.
So close.
With a 60-yard run.
What a run.
Garner did a heck of a job catching him there to save the touchdown. That was number 8, Warren Messer, on the tackle. God, that sounds familiar. So he's come up a couple of times. And Mustangs striking distance now at the 5-yard line. And that is fine, but he is stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Now Mustangs in a prime position here to get some more points on the board and see if they can capitalize. And that is a flag on the Mustangs. Looks like an illegal shift again. That is the second time that has been on the Mustangs. They now have 6 penalties for the game. And that pass is broken up there. It's going to bring up a second down for the Mustangs. Again with the penalties, though, the Mustangs have just come at very inopportune times. They had the ball inside the 5-yard line. Now they're backed up past their own 10.
A lot of penalties this game.
Elijah Perry off to the right trying to break free, but
Garner
was right there and a big hit. He was lifted off the ground there.
This close to the end zone, that is not something you want.
The Trojans sniffed that out real quick. He's going to be dropped for about a 4-yard loss. And now Mustangs back up to the 15-yard line with a 3rd down and goal.
As I said before, the Trojans have actually done a decent job of every now and then sniffing out what the Mustangs were doing and just demolishing the play.
Gristle back, looking to throw, looks left to the end zone, and it bounces right off of a Middle Creek receiver.
Is that an interception?
That's an interception by Garner. It bounced right off the chest of Ashton Mitchell. Or, let's see. Yes, I believe that was Ashton Mitchell. But that's just an unfortunate play right there, wide open in the end zone. That's going to be something that hopefully doesn't come back to haunt Middle Creek. Looked like it just went right through his hands.
Nothing you can really do about that. Just hope it doesn't happen again.
Well, they definitely have to shake that off after a long 70-yard drive to end in an interception in the red zone. Let's see if the defense can come back on and stop the Trojans from tying this up. Hines goes forward for about 6 yards, brought down.
What I'm really hoping right now is Middle Creek didn't lose their steam, because at the beginning they were just absolutely dominating straight out of the gate, and I'm hoping they can keep that up or at least revive it.
And that is a rough way to end a long drive like that one.
Yeah. It was almost 75 yards, I believe.
And here we go, second down at about 2. Handed right up the middle to Hines again, and he looks to be stopped right at the first down yard. And signaling for a first down there. Bring a new set of downs for the Garner Trojans. And right now, Hines is looking unstoppable. I don't know if it's the Middle Creek defense losing steam, but they are not being able to wrap him up as much.
Yeah, as I said, Hines is definitely the X factor in this game. He is just helping Garner through this.
All right, so we got a teacher watching us right now, Mr. Warren. I'm sure many of you out there had him at some point. I unfortunately was not lucky enough to have him teach me it, but I've heard great things. I'll give a shout out to Mr. Ginsberg, my biology teacher.
I remember him. He was awesome.
Oh, and a fumbled snap by West, and he is going to be brought down in the backfield, bringing up about a 3rd and 10 now for the Trojans. And I would think as West, when you're already being taken out of the game, replaced by Wildcat, too many mistakes like that aren't going to do too much for you.
No.
And now Trojans come back. Apparently he was able to fight back to the line of scrimmage as it's going to be a 3rd and about 7 or 8.
Trojans lined up. Looks like it's going to be another run play.
And that's going to be a timeout for the Mustangs. Coach Castellano did not like what he was seeing on defense. All right, and we are going to take a quick commercial break. 3:25 left in the 3rd quarter. Mustangs up 21-14. Be right back. You are watching the Sports Block.
He one block,
Oh!
and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute thrill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Block.
All right, coming back for the Sports Block. Actually, we have another old school one here. We have a former MCHS running back and Sports Block commentator, Nate Harris, tuning in from Florida. Shout out to the old school. All right, now we got a Florida. Here we go. We're across the country tonight.
Yeah, all around.
As we got a 3rd and 8 coming up for the Trojans. Look to pass, and he is swallowed up in the backfield.
The Garner offensive line crumbled that time.
That's going to be a huge sack by number 34, Alex Sutton. And that's going to bring up a 4th and 18. That is 15, something like that. But that is just what the doctor ordered for the Mustangs. And Matt Schmidt back to catch. He gets it at the 43-yard line. All right, and we got another Ryan Fuller, also another former Creek Crazy leader, tuning in from Charlotte. So we're across the state too. I don't know of any other. Let's see if we can get any more North Carolina colleges in here. We got Marcus Bullock watching the boys dominate Garner. All the way from Wilmington. He's a former Mustang player too. So Elijah Perry's brought down way in the backfield there.
That is not something you want. I wasn't watching, but it looked like it was the O-line again.
Come on, you don't admit to that. Never say you don't watch as a commentator. That's more than a 10-yard loss for the Mustangs as he was wrapped up way back. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 22 for the Mustangs. Grizzle looking to pass, and he is brought down another 6 yards back. So
The O-line actually did provide him an ample amount of time. It's just that he just couldn't find any options.
That was number 64, Jalen Dean, for the Trojans in on the sack there, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and, I'm not planning on doing the math, but it looks more than 30 right now. 25. A quick screen is dropped, and that's going to bring up 4th and long. Now, if I had to place money on any guess of mine this evening, I would guess that Mustangs will not go for this one.
I would say the same thing.
As Rubino comes on to punt the ball away, hoping not to give Garner too good a field position. And the punt is away. It looked to be tipped a bit as that goes out of bounds. Still inside Mustang territory, so the Trojans are going to get great field position for this next drive.
Hopefully the Mustangs can hold them off.
As the defense comes on, we haven't really seen a lot of our expectations. We did see Mustangs try to be aggressive there at the start with the onside kick, which very, very nearly worked. But, the offensive line really hasn't done too much better. We've seen a little bit more holes open up for the running backs. But
yeah.
And, of course, we've seen Garner come out and run the ball much more effectively. And here we go again with the Wildcat, Hines in the backfield.
I have a feeling this is going to be one of their major plays for the rest of the game.
And that is handed to 24 for actually, no. Hines kept it, but he is swallowed up by the Mustang defense. They sniffed that one right out. That's going to bring up 2nd and about 13 for the Trojans. And West still is not in. Hines again for the direct snap here. Can't imagine we'd see anything much different than what we've seen already. Another fake handoff to number 24, but it is thrown and bobbled and finally dropped.
Wow.
That was in the air for way too long there.
Yeah, getting a little close.
But that was a pass by Naheem Hines, so there's one for the books. And that's going to bring up 3rd and long for the Trojans. That was bobbled for probably 5-10 yards there. Very nearly an interception as well.
I mean, despite it almost being an interception, Hines has really just shown his versatility as a player. I mean, just a fantastic player. Honestly, in my opinion, he should be almost the MVP of this game.
Looks back to pass, and that's a throw way over and almost picked off again. But clean hit on the defense, so that's going to bring up 4th and long. And one thing that should be brought up here, almost every pass that we've seen that has gone long for Garner has almost just been an up for grabs. I almost have to compare it to playing I'm at a loss for the game as a kid. You just throw the ball, you call out points, and you catch it.
Like 500 or 200.
500, there you go. That's what every one of those passes has looked like so far, just who wants it. Probably not a complaint for the Middle Creek secondary.
No.
As Garner looks to be going for it here.
Not a good decision in my point of view.
We could see West with his punting abilities again, and it looks like it. It is kicked right down there. But Garner unable to get there. An unlucky bounce for them, rolls out of the end zone. Mustangs are going to get the ball at the 20-yard line with 48 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Now, as punting that ball away, it helps Garner a lot to have their quarterback out there, because that doesn't allow Middle Creek to put a guy deep to receive. So it makes downing the ball in the closer to the end zone much easier. And as we saw, they effectively killed the Middle Creek drive by downing them inside the 5 last time that happened. Gristle with, and that
flag
looks
down.
like
We'll see what the refs have to say. False start on Middle Creek, and that's unfortunate there. And that'll back the Mustangs up to their own 15-yard line. And again with split wideouts here. Gristle looks back. Obvious passing situation here. And throws it. It's caught by number 2, Ashton Mitchell, and he is hit hard right at the line of scrimmage, or the old line of scrimmage. They're able to make up that penalty yardage and a little bit more. That's going to bring up second and about 7 or 8. But he took a hard hit before he went down there.
Impressive he managed to hold on to the ball.
That's one of those that you look at and you realize these guys got to be tough as nails out there to be able to take those. Gristle back to pass, hands it off to Elijah Perry, and he fights forward for maybe a yard. Looked like he just got back to the line of scrimmage. And with time ticking down in the third quarter, we are headed to the fourth now. Mustangs ahead 21-14. We'll take a short commercial break. You are watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute thrill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute thrill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
All right, as we come back to the game, a correction on a former shout-out. With Noah March, there's also Will Floyd, who's also a former MCHS wide receiver over at Princeton. And Grizzle back, finds an open receiver, and that's going to be a first down. Garner helmet came off. That's Quadir Ford. And as the fourth quarter begins, you really don't know which way to think right now. Early on, it was easy to tell that Mustangs had the momentum, but it's kind of even out, and it's been hit or miss right now.
Yeah, I think the main thing that's really even the field is Hines. As I've said many times, he's just
Ford finds a hole again up the sidelines, and he is going to be forced out of bounds. Right inside the 35-yard line of the Trojans. And again, it's been these big runs for Middle Creek tonight that have sprung them on their drives. So again, let's look for the Mustangs to take control now. The official spot at the Trojan 33-yard line. So within striking distance, Gristle back, hands it to Stuart Fine, and he is hit right at the line of scrimmage and brought down. So it's going to bring up 2nd and 10 for the Mustangs, but a Garner player is down. Looks to be number 8, Warren Messer, but I could be wrong. And that was number 8, Warren Messer. And we'll take a quick commercial break as that is figured out. With 11:22 left in the fourth quarter, you are watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute thrill into the back of the end zone.
watching the Sports Blog.
We are back here with the Sports Block. Mustangs still ahead 21-14. The start of the fourth quarter, 2nd and 10. Grizzleback. And over the head, see if he can get there to recover. He does, past midfield. And that is a huge loss for the Mustangs. And that snap just, it was not a good snap at all. That was right over his head.
It's just the little mistakes.
Little mistakes, 20-yard loss.
I guess you could call that a really big mistake, actually.
Mustangs need to get to the 25-yard line. They are now back at midfield. Obvious passing situation here. 4 wide receivers out to the left for the Mustangs. And he is hit as he throws. Lucky to get that one away.
Own line again. As we've said many times before, I don't know what's going on with them, but it's...
Well, the pocket just collapsed there.
Yeah.
And the O-line, it's been folding so far. I don't know what is going on, whether it's just late in the game, but now it's 4th and 25. Mustangs with a very promising drive earlier on, now forced to punt yet again.
Well, you also have to look at how hard these players are pushed, because being tired is also a big
and
part.
that could be down. That could be big yardage for the Mustangs, and that is down right outside the 5-yard line. A great punt by Michael Rubino. That is just a great job by the Mustangs special teams right there. Well, and what's meant to help with those, or what seemed to help the Mustangs with their pocket in past games has been with the screen passes, because they can get them off real quick, but we have not seen a lot of those tonight, which you gotta think that has to do with something with their loss of Curtis Burston. Mustangs looking to come up big here. Hines breaks free to the right.
Brought down.
Looks to be about a 7-yard gain. That's not what the Mustangs wanted there. They wanted to keep them deep. Now at about the 12-yard line, the Trojans looking to build something here. There's been a lot more runs thus far in the second half, as the clock has seemed to just melt away. Trojans line up here. West is in again under center. Hands it right up to Hines up the middle, and he just forces his way forward for another 10-yard gain. He is just unstoppable right now. You know, the Mustangs do not want this right now.
I think a big part of this kind of loss of power, really, I guess you could say, and the Mustangs' performance right now is just how tired they are, because they came out hard in the first quarter. I mean, that probably took a toll on them in the end.
And with a fresh set of downs, it's handed off to number 5, Tyrese Taylor, up the middle for a gain of about 9 or 10. Going to be a 2nd down and short. Or referees signaling for a 1st down. Oh, and a lot of this, it seems that it's not even so much as the Mustangs are not covering, because they are getting hits on there. They're just failing to wrap up. As Hines right there is wrapped up in the backfield. There was no room for him to go there. But, you know, as a Detroit Lions fan here, one can understand why I am very upset with missed tackles, because that's almost the story of them, and that's looking like the Mustangs right now. As Hines breaks free to the right, and he is brought down at the 1st down marker. Could be another 1st down here for the Trojans.
Looks like it's a little short, maybe.
The official spot is marking it about a yard short, so it's going to be another 3rd and short for the Trojans. Obvious running situation here. I don't think the Mustangs need to guess anywhere that the ball is going. Oh, and a pass. Look down the left sideline, and the receiver fell. Intended receiver there was number 11, Jarvin Holder, but he just lost his footing. And that's going to bring up a 4th down and 1.
Again, I do not see any situation where the Trojans do not go for this. As they're coming out now. Actually, it looks like their punt team. They're not taking any chances here. But a timeout by the Mustangs. They were not prepared for a punt. And we're going to go down to our sideline reporter, Abby, for a quick update.
It's the fourth quarter for the first game of the high school football season for rivals Middle Creek Mustangs and Garner Trojans. Elijah Perry has been playing really well for the Middle Creek Mustangs so far. He's had 2 touchdowns in the first and third quarters. The coaches have been doing well, keeping the hype and energy up for the Middle Creek Mustangs, and I think if they can keep doing that in the fourth quarter, just the last few minutes, and keep the energy level up, then we have a chance of coming out on top in this game. This is Abby Carr, back to you.
And thank you. Wonderful job as always, Abby Carr, down on the sidelines. And now we have the Trojans coming out again, 2 punts. I would be ready as the Mustangs for a fake punt here.
Yeah, this is not a situation you'd want to give up.
You would not expect Garner to be punting at this, and I see Mustangs are looking at that because they had no one back there.
That is a call that I would not have made. I'm surprised they punted that.
Well, now the Mustangs are going to have the ball at their own 20, and you know, with the Trojan defense lately, obviously the coaches gained some confidence in them because Mustangs have not been able to score. And at their own 20, Mustangs looking for a long drive here to get some more points on the board. As you know, against a good Garner Trojans team, 7 points is just not enough. Some hurry up at the line here. It's a handoff right to Elijah Perry, but he is stopped behind the line of scrimmage for a small loss. Going to be about 2nd and 11 for the Mustangs. Castellano really ripping into the defense right now down on the Middle Creek bench, and that looks like it's going to be an offsides on Garner. And he's the offender immediately sent off the field. That's going to be the penalty number 10 for Garner. And after a big stop behind the line of scrimmage, that's not something you want to do as a Trojan team. Gristle back, looks to the left, and that is bounced off of a Middle Creek receiver and two other Garner secondaries. So lucky that that was not intercepted right there. Bring up a 3rd down and about 6 for the Mustangs. 4 wide receiver set. I don't think that has changed all game. Gristle looking over center, and there's a completion there. Should have enough yardage for the 1st down. That was number 11, Evan Yenilevich. Getting better at that name. And first new set of downs we've seen for the Mustangs in a while.
Yeah.
And Elijah Perry breaks it out to the right, able to get a few yards there. Make something out of nothing.
Yeah, there's nowhere he could really go with that.
Nevertheless, 2-yard gain and 2nd and 8 coming up for the Mustangs. And again, Elijah Perry up the middle. Some good blocking by the Middle Creek receivers, but still brought down with just a 2 to 3 yard gain. Going to bring up 3rd and 5 for the Mustangs. And then that is something that doesn't really get hit on often, but if you look at a lot of the runs that have been bounced off to the right or to the left, it has been those receivers of Middle Creek. They are trained really well to block the cornerbacks and not allow them to get through, and that has been
really a main factor in what has allowed their runs to spring past 40, 50 yards here. Crystal looks left, and he is hit as he caught. No gain for the Mustangs there. Going to bring up 4th and 5 here. And as you were saying earlier, Garner seems to be sniffing out the Middle Creek plays more and more here. They know exactly where they're going. So Rubino comes on to punt away again.
I feel like Middle Creek needs to change up their plays again, add a lot of variety in there, throw off the Trojan defense.
I mean, that is something that we have seen. It's just mainly been a repetition of the same plays, but Garner almost looked to hit Rubino in there, but still no
close.
Call. No call there. Trojans going to have the ball at their own 27-yard line here with 6 minutes and 20 seconds left in the game. And one can't help but wonder what really has happened to the Middle Creek offense. It has gone quiet. As the Trojan offense comes back on, West under center. I formation. Run is pitched to the right and throw downfield. He's got an open receiver.
He's got it.
And he's got to catch up, but he is not going to.
He's not going to be able to.
That is a touchdown for Garner. Number 11, Jarvin Holder.
Huge play.
Pulling a little trickery here. And as you were saying, the versatility of Hines, that was just a wonderful throw down the right sideline.
Yeah, that's something you expect out of a regular quarterback.
Yes, that is for sure. And they are fired up on Garner's side. Middle Creek looking kind of quiet right now, and the extra point to tie the game right here is not what the Mustangs were hoping for there. The receiver just had a jump on the cornerback all the way down the sidelines.
It was a 70-something yard play.
And on for the extra point is number 32, Noah Garreau. And that's right through the uprights. It is a tie game here at Mustang Stadium.
Creek Crazies are not happy about this.
Oh. Just over 6 minutes left, and things have gone down a hill real quick in this second half for the Mustangs.
As we predicted earlier, this is going to be a tight game. The atmosphere is really intense right now.
And Crazy's getting back up. Of course, they believe we'll win. Will we? Now, Mustangs back to receive. But you got to be careful here. The momentum is definitely in Garner's favor right now. If they are able to get a onside kickoff and get the ball back,
that just might be game over for Middle Creek.
Might spell disaster. Story of the game, though, still remains Naheem Hines.
Yeah, Middle Creek has really just got to figure out a way to deal with him.
And the common denominator is, you shut down him, you shut down Garner's offense. And Middle Creek, unfortunately, has been unable to do that as they have in the past. The game looks totally different than it did in late fall last year. All right, now back to kick. And it is kicked away here. Received by the Mustangs at their own 5-yard line. And he makes a move, kicker to beat, and he is brought down at the 30-yard line. Some fancy footwork over there.
With only 6 minutes to go. This is gonna be a tight game, guys.
And that was a great run there. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. 6 minutes left. Tie game at 21. You are watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
And we are back here with the Sports Block. 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and we are tied up at 21 here with the Middle Creek Mustangs and the Garner Trojans. First down and 10 for the Mustangs. Handoff to Elijah Perry, and that is fumbled, but falls right on top of it. Still going to be a big loss for the Mustangs, and they just can't seem to get it together right now.
Well, after that huge play by the Trojans, they're probably down on spirits a little bit.
It's going to bring up 2nd and 18. Need to get to the 40-yard line for a new set of downs. And that is handed off to Stuart Fine, who gets about a couple of yards.
Right about now, I'd be taking advantage of Gristle's arm. I'd be throwing some long passes, but with the O-line, you can't be sure. But if the O-line could hold him out long enough.
All right, we got about a 3rd and 17 here, and that's the story. They really have not been able to get much passing game going on here. Gristle is his numbers have been inhibited so far. Gristle looking out to the right, throws downfield. Just overthrows. He had an open Rasheem Eaton. Just another missed opportunity for the Mustangs there. And looking to punt again as Rubino comes onto the field. And Garner now is looking unstoppable.
Garner's really picked up the slack.
As Rubino awaits to punt it away. Things are not looking good right now for the Mustangs.
Pretty crazy. He's trying to pump up their team.
And that good kick gets a bounce in Middle Creek's direction, down in Trojan territory at their own 41-yard line, but still pretty good field position for the Trojans. And Garner's crowd obviously going very crazy right now. And Creek Crazies are pretty quiet. Got to have a reason to go crazy, though. Yep. And the Mustangs have been pretty quiet this second half.
Really has changed hands. The first half, Middle Creek was absolutely crushing.
And Hines is stuffed at the line of scrimmage. That's the defense that they're going to want. But a lot of the quick little runs by Garner have ended that way. It's when they start to hit the outside that spells trouble for Middle Creek.
The one thing Garner's got to be concerned about is I'd be starting to worry if Hines is getting too tired, though. He is their major player.
And a pitch to the right. Hines cuts it back to the left. He's got one person to beat. He fights his way for a 15-yard gain.
Does not look like he's tiring out at all.
I can't imagine a guy who's used to running 500 yards in a game is going to get tired out too quick. So. Yeah. And that brings up a new fresh set of downs for the Trojans inside Mustang territory. And a quick update, at the game that they had in the playoffs last year, there was actually not a score in the second half by either team. It was a defensive game. As a quick handoff to number 5 up the middle. Bulldozes his way, but he is met by plenty of Middle Creek defense. But it was actually coming down to the last seconds in the half that Castellano opted to go for a field goal that sent the Mustangs ahead 24-21, and that it remained for the rest of the game.
We'll have to see if it comes down to that again.
One can't help but think about that, having the game tied at 21 with just over 3 minutes left in the game now.
But with Garner having the ball, it's not looking like
a pitch out right and gets ahead for 5 yards. That was number 4, Michael Gilchrist, on the carry. And 3rd and 7 coming up for the Trojans. Mustangs hoping for a stop here as Garner has elected to play it safe on the past few drives on 4th down. So Middle Creek really needs a stop here. I can't imagine Castellano wants to leave the ball in Garner's hands at the end of the game. And West rolls out to the right and just missed. That is a missed opportunity for the Trojans. That was a guaranteed 1st down right there.
I feel like the Trojans are going to go for this. I mean, they have nothing to lose. With around 2 minutes left, you just got to go for it.
And as the offense comes back onto the field, that's what it looks like. But we cannot rule out the kick, as West has shown his ability to punt, and he is lined up far enough back that looks like a possibility. As timeout Garner. And with just over 2 minutes left, score tied at 21, we will take a quick commercial break. You are watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute thrill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And we are back here with the Sports Block. 2 minutes and 16 seconds left in the game. Tie at 21 apiece. Coming up with a big 4th down for Garner. 4th and 7. Middle Creek needs a stop here to get their last shot. West's in shotgun, and he punts it away there. Garner looking for a good, and that was a great punt. Going to be down at the 7-yard line, so Middle Creek has a long ways to go here with just over 2 minutes left. They're going to need to do a little bit better than they have.
I think the O-line it's really going to come on the O-line now, because the offense is really going to have to revert to passing, because with such little time left, they can't afford to make little runs.
And as we saw earlier in the game, last thing that the Mustangs can afford is another interception, as we saw Gristle picked off inside zone 5-yard line, and that was an easy touchdown for the Trojans. And here go the Mustangs, deep in their own territory. It's a handoff to Elijah Perry. He breaks free. Going to be about an 8 or 9 yard pickup there. And that'll, in fact, get the Mustangs a good 7 yards. And now we are under 2 minutes. Mustangs need to hurry here. Another handoff to Perry, and he is stopped at the line of scrimmage. The Mustangs do not need that. 3rd down and about 2 with a minute and a half left. And the official timeout. Official timeout for the Chains now. And every inch matters at this point.
I really wonder what's going through Castellano's head right now, because there's got to be a lot going through his head.
I mean, you can see it. He's on the field yelling right now. I'm not sure you want to know. As the Chains come out, looks like the Mustangs are going to be inches short, and that'll bring up a 3rd and inches now. Mustangs, big 3rd down here.
Just short of the 1st down.
I can imagine them running it up the middle, getting that 1st down, and then working their way down the field, but they are running out of time at this point and hoping for a big play to spring them loose, as they still have 80 yards left to go. Confusion down there with the chains. Must have been a mistake, but
looks like it's going to stay
we'll
at 3rd down and inches.
Sorted out soon enough, and I think they were just getting their marker set. So now the Mustangs at their own 19-yard line, or 18-yard line, hoping to punch it through here for a 1st down. They have what looks to be a yard left. Important play here for the Mustangs, because I would not risk going for a 4th down so deep in their own territory and with so little time left. Trying to draw Trojans off sides. They don't bite. And Stewart Fine up the middle. Actually, that is Elijah Perry, and he breaks it out to the left. Some good footwork. It is a foot race.
50.
40. For Garner. 30. Close behind, and he is
20.
wrapped up at the 20-yard line.
What a play.
A touchdown was saved by number 3, Raekwon Britton. But now with 1 minute and 14 seconds left, the Mustangs are knocking on the door. Again with a huge run for Elijah Perry. The Creek Crazies have some energy now, and all Garner can do is watch.
Middle Creek now has just had a huge drive. They now have the morale on their side. They're really close, and the Creek Crazies are going absolutely crazy.
And with the Garner timeout, we are going to take a quick break. 1 minute and 14 left, still tied up. You are watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Block.
And you are back with the Sports Block. Elijah Perry getting a standing ovation by the Mustangs as he was shaken up on the last play.
He certainly deserves it. 65 yards for a total of 227 yards, and averages 10 yards a carry. That deserves
That is
mention.
a heck of a game right there for Elijah Perry. Now the Mustangs, Stewart Fine up the middle. He is breaking free, and he is down inside the 5-yard line. Just under a minute left for the Mustangs with the ball on the 1-yard line. Now, we talk about opportunities all day long. The Mustangs sure have a big one right here.
This is intense, guys. You can't even describe it. Everyone's absolutely ecstatic, except for Garner, of course.
And there's another timeout now for Garner. Mustangs are getting hyped down here. The Creek Crazies rising up. And now we're going to take another commercial break. Inside a minute left. You are watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Block.
from block,
Oh!
and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two.
All right, and we are back with the sports block. Middle Creek knocking on the door. 1 yard line of the Trojans. 56 seconds left. And for those of you tuning in from across the country, really, you picked a heck of a game to watch tonight.
This is about as close as it gets.
Now Gristle in the backfield. And that's, we talk about mistakes. And that's a false start on the Mustangs. Going to put them 5 yards back. And that's just unacceptable this late in the game. But one would think, that may be a little bit of a help to the Mustangs because now they have a little bit more space to maybe run some time off the clock. But Garner defense looking to stand tall here. And they're going to get the yardage right back. But apparently he didn't cross. That looked like a jump by the Trojans, but no call there. Must not have crossed the line. And Stuart Fine up the middle. He does for the end zone. Oh! And he's in. Stuart Fine with a diving play right into the end zone. That is a touchdown for the Mustangs. And he is excited. He is somersaulting his way to the bench. Don't worry, Stuart. No one saw that. But what a great play.
It's just
the whole bench, the Creek Crazies, everyone is on their feet. 51 seconds left. Rubino comes out to try the extra point.
one heck of a game.
This is an important extra point coming up. And the kick is up, and it is right through the uprights.
Good.
Middle Creek takes a 7-point lead with 51 seconds left in the game. Wow, what a game.
This is about as close as it gets, as I said before.
And that is one of those touchdowns that, like, when you look at the memories right there,
yeah,
that is what it's going to be remembered as, the leaping attempts by Stuart Fine to get in that end zone.
That is definitely going to make the highlight reels.
But the game is not over yet. There is still plenty of game left to be played with 51 seconds left and the always dangerous Nyheim Hines. It took one play for the Trojans to go 70 yards on their last drive, or their last score. It is the last thing the Mustangs want to allow here. Let the score get to them right now. In high school sports, 51 seconds is a long time.
Yes, most certainly.
Especially when you watch, even in the big leagues, in the NFL. 51 seconds, that lasts a lifetime. Castellano's on the field, giving his kicking team pump-up speech. Here we go. Now, Mustangs just need to stand tall on defense now. That's all it takes. Here they go out to kick.
What a home opener. I'm just saying, this is...
And correction to the time now. They're adding 3 seconds to the clock. It is going to have 54 seconds. So plenty of time for the Trojans here. But here we go. Rubino coming back to kick. Find something on the field. Hines is the lone back to receive. I would not be surprised, as hard as it probably would be, but for Rubino to try to keep it away from Hines. He's probably the last person he wants to touch the ball right now, but if he kicks as well as he has recently, he'll just kick it right through the back of the end zone.
Yep. And it is so loud here, guys. Everyone's screaming Garner, the Creek Crazies. Everyone's on their feet.
Yeah, I hope we're still audible to everyone, that's for sure. So Rubino gets back to kick it away. 54.5 seconds left on the clock.
See how this plays out.
And the kick is away.
A monster of a kick.
Way into the end zone. That's not going to be returned. That's what they were looking for. Now the Trojans are going to have an uphill battle. 80 yards in 54.5 seconds. All the Mustangs need to do. The problem with running the ball now is the clock's going to keep running. So the Mustangs just need to keep them behind the first down yards as much as they can.
But as you said, a minute is a long time.
See if they can melt the clock away here.
Especially with how stoked how pumped up all these players are. It's going to be fun to see what happens.
West is in, looking to pass. Naheem Hines in motion. Split out to the right. Looking deep. He's got an open receiver, and the catch is made, but dropped.
Incomplete.
Incomplete pass down the sidelines.
What a breakup.
That was an amazing job on defense by Tavon Holland, because that was a good, that was a, what? It had to have been a 40-yard catch right there.
That would have been devastating.
That would have put them right in scoring position. But nonetheless, we are back now, 2nd and 10 for the Trojans. West in the backfield again, looking to pass. Hines split out left, in motion again. And he's getting chased by the Mustangs.
Pressure.
And he is almost hit, but able to avoid, and throws downfield. No one in the vicinity.
34 seconds left.
And that took some time off the clock, but a great job of West avoiding the Middle Creek defense. There were 3 or 4 chances for a sack right there. But here we go, 34 seconds left in the game. Timeout, Middle Creek. 3rd down for the Garner Trojans. And we're going to take a break here. Mustangs up 28-21. You are watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
All right, bringing it back to the game. Another update. Wake Forest is above Panther Creek 23-6. So another SWAC team down right now, but that's not the game we're worrying about. We're worrying about this one. 3rd and 10 for the Trojans. 34 seconds left on the clock. Hines in motion. West looking, but Sutton misses him.
Just misses him.
Hines is running now. Almost tripped up, and he is taken down for a loss. Clock continues to run. 21 seconds left, and that's going to be a timeout for the Trojans. It's going to bring up a 4th and 11 right now. Down to their last play, the Trojans are.
They've got to be getting desperate by now.
Well, in desperation, there was no one open downfield. The Middle Creek defense did a great job. And now they are down again to 1 play. The Mustangs just need to keep them behind the 30-yard line.
Though they're tired and they played a whole game, and I'm sure they're hurting. They've been able to hold off Garner. The Mustangs have certainly been proving themselves.
Well, again, now we have a 4th down and 10 to go. 21 seconds left in the game. The Mustangs lead the Trojans 28-21. Just if you haven't been watching this whole game. And here we go, the last play, potentially. Mustangs need a stop here to end the game. Creek Crazy's getting alive. And this is the play of the game right here.
This is the deciding play.
And it's getting loud. The entire bench of the Mustangs signaling the Crazies to get up. West is back. Hines is split to the right.
Drops back.
Throws away.
Pass.
Down the right sideline. No one's there. It's picked
interception.
off. The Mustangs down the sideline.
for a touchdown. It is over. It is over.
Interception for a touchdown. The Mustangs go ahead 34-21, and that all but finishes the game for the Trojans.
Devastating, but what a play.
What a great play there by the Mustangs on defense. And now they come out for the extra point. Almost symbolic at this point.
Just a phenomenal game by both teams. But
there's
Mustangs
a call.
just,
Hold on,
oh
wait.
No.
We missed the call, but something on the Mustangs. And now they're back. Oh, we will have to gather the information on that call. We all missed it up here in the excitement. Point is, 9.3 seconds left. And unfortunate there, the call was roughing the passer on the Middle Creek Mustangs. So prevent here, all but you got Mustangs lined up down at the 40-yard line. Prevent defense, 9.3 seconds left.
There's not much you can do now.
You just got to block the pass here. West back. And pressure on. Pressure on. West down the field. And that is just blocked out of bounds. The clock will expire. Little hijinks at the end, but Mustangs are going to walk away with the win. 28-21.
What a game. That is one of the best games I've ever seen in high school football.
Words cannot describe the start to the season this gives the Mustangs as they go out to midfield to shake hands. What a great game all around. Trojans as well.
Intensity coming into this game, just phenomenal.
And the amount of hype that was built into this game due to the meetings in the past. You gotta imagine that's a great way to start the season for the Mustangs, beating a team that has for so long given them trouble early on in the season.
It's undescribable.
And with how emotional that game was, of course, it's good to see the good sportsmanship on either side there in the middle. At this point, not much words to say, but we're going to take a quick break. You are watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
And we are back with the Sports Block. A quick recap of the game. The first half was all Mustangs. There's no doubt about that. But the Trojans came roaring back in the second half, and no doubt they owned that one. But the last 3 minutes, all Mustangs, and that was the difference in the game. What are your thoughts, Jonah?
I just thought it was a phenomenal game by both teams. Both teams just threw their hearts into it, and the Mustangs just happened to come out on top.
And that was great to see on either side. Next home game is going to be September 5th against Smithfield Selma. We'll be there. Hopefully you all will too. For Jonah Hill, I'm Jason Schmidt. Thank you to all of those watching us across the country. And stay with us. See you next time. You are watching the Sports Block.